Questa canzone è la nuova canzone di Tony Moore, noto artista britannico. Pensate, l'original member of Iron Maiden, e questa sera è proprio qui con noi. Welcome to London One Radio, Tony.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for inviting me.
I'm very honored. How you been?
Well, I've been very good, except this morning I've got a bit of a croaky throat, which is, I think it's this time of year, isn't it? But
yeah, of course. It's October, and now the time and also the weather is changing a lot. So I cry for you. Finally, you are here with a new music journey. And this is the new single. It was released 14th of October.
Yes, it's brand new. So this song I wrote for my mum, and the last few years during the lockdown, she sadly developed dementia. And so I moved in to become her primary carer and look after her. And it was in a time where I had nowhere else to go, right? We were all locked down.
Yeah, of course.
So I got to spend every day with her and tell her how much I loved her and how she was the most beautiful mum in the world. And the first time that I walked into the room and she looked at me and said, "Oh, you look very much like my son." And I said, "But I am your son, Mum." And she went, "Yes, he plays the piano as well." And it broke my heart. And so I grieved that night very deeply, because it's a very cruel thing that to lose somebody and they're still there. Now, her dementia came and went, so most of the time she knew who I was. But that night I wrote this song. And it's about watching her on the security cameras to make sure that she's safe and to let her know that I'm always there and looking after her.
This song was very touching. It's quite emotional, to be honest, even listening to it. And I really like also what you produced, because I want to understand with you, this is a song that you wrote before the album Awake, or during the process of it?
I actually wrote it before, and it's not on the album. It's a separate piece of music. And I wasn't sure if I'd release it, but Mum passed away a couple of months ago, and so I wanted to release it as a tribute to her. And I found that so many people are going through very, very similar experiences with people that they love, and that for some people the song has been a great comfort, and for other people it's been important to know that they're not alone. This is a real challenge when you have to deal with a parent or a loved one who's in this position. Sometimes you feel very alone, because you get disconnected from this person's family, the line of the family, right? They no longer recognize you easily. And
that's true.
This happens to so many people. And I wanted everyone to know, I understand, and there are millions of us around the world that do understand, and that, there's a message of hope.
Did it make you change this experience in terms also of music?
Not so much music, but definitely in appreciating every moment even more. I've always lived in the moment. My whole life has been in embracing the moment and looking forward and not looking into the past. But I realized that when you are with those that you love, every second is vital, and to really tell the people that you love them every day. Even if you think it's corny, it's not really. This is the most important emotion for family, isn't it? To let people know that they're loved. And we can take people for granted too long. So anyway, that was the message. And I live more in that moment now.
That's quite interesting also to understand how you felt during those times, and I like the fact that you've been very honest with you, because most of the times we have authors or singer-songwriters who try to hide their emotions. In this case, you've been truthful, and this is probably something that people really appreciated. And also, I believe that people appreciated the approach to write your new album, because now we are very used to songs which are very quick, the famous commercial rules.
Yeah.
But you said to yourself, you know what, I'm going to go back to my ages, the 70s, the 80s. Let's bring that kind of spirit of progressive rock. So how did you process this music journey?
Well, that all began in the end of January in 2021.
Right.
And I was working on a piece of music on the guitar. Now, most people who've known me all my life know me as a keyboard player.
Yeah.
And I play rhythm guitar, But nobody's ever seen me be a lead guitarist, really, because I've been a bit shy, really. I've let other people do that.
Why?
Well, just because there's other people who are brilliant, and I love talented people, so I'm happy to play the piano and work with amazing guitarists.
Yeah.
But I was in the shed in my mum's garden, nowhere to go, couldn't work with anyone. We were locked down. We were, isolated. So
Right.
I just started playing more guitar, and I wrote this piece of music called Awake, which was it was 8.5 minutes. It's the opening track of the album. It's lots and lots of guitar and a little bit of singing. And I just did it for me. And I just was doing the thing that made me feel the most inspired. I posted on Facebook a video of me playing it live. And I had thousands of people sending me messages saying how brilliant they thought it was. And I thought, wow, that's nice. Okay, maybe this is the beginning of an album. So I built the album based on my experiences of 2020 and my thoughts and my feelings and what I went through, based on my self-reflection of my life as a human, but as a musician. Have I done all the things I want to do yet? No, I haven't. And this was a time when none of us knew if we'd get back to normal. And thirdly, about my mum and dealing with her dementia and looking after her and making her a part of the music. So I ended up writing the whole album and recording it in 2 months.
Wow.
Consecutively from the first song to the last song. But I haven't released the album yet because it's a massive project. It's a concept album. It feels like it has a narrative running through it. So I decided to do the live show instead and build an audience to be aware of it. So for 1.5 years, I've played the show every month to a full house at the Bedford in Balham, and now also every other couple of weeks at the Camden Club in Camden.
Yeah.
So if people want to hear the music, you get to see the show as well. And it's a big show, lots of video, very immersive, hard to explain. It's a real journey.
It's an experience that you need to live.
Yes, exactly.
With the real people, because we missed so much during the lockdown, this magic that music can create in a real venue. And now going back to the concerts is quite magical, to be honest. And I've been through, of course, we are a radio station, so we are very lucky to work in this environment. So you can understand literally what I'm talking about. And in fact, now that you mentioned some of the dates you have, I'm going to mention the other ones as well. So 4th of November, the Camden Club.
Yep.
Then you're going to be back in Bedford on 16th of November.
Yep.
And then 2nd of December, the Camden Club.
Yep. And finally, I think there's one at the end of December at the Bedford. But those next 3 dates, if you can make one or all of them, I'd love you to see the show wherever you are in the world. Fly in from Italy if you're listening in Italy.
All right.
Travel down from Scotland if you're in Scotland. It's worth seeing the show. Next year, I'm going to take it on tour. So I will take it, and hopefully in
Italy as well.
I hope to as well. Yes,
we hope to as well. So because you have our own guitars as well in your hands, why don't you play something for us so we can basically make it live?
Okay, so I'm going to play a song. Apologies, and I wouldn't normally do this, but my voice is a little bit croaky, so I might miss a note or two. But we'll go for it. Okay,
we'll go it.
This is a song called "Let Your Heart Begin to Sing."
Nice.
I know the world came crashing down on you, but you're a fighter, you will push on through. What's true today's tomorrow's yesterday's news. Just keep the line of love, the one thing you choose. I understand it's hard to see the light when life has turned your day into the night. But don't lose the you always used to be. That is your superpower, listen to me. Whoa, 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 don't you worry about a thing. Whoa, whoa, let your heart begin to sing. Whoa, whoa, you can change anything. Oh, oh, let your heart begin to sing. Let your heart begin to sing. Whoa, whoa.
Wonderful. That's magical.
Thank you. My voice isn't singing the right notes,
I
and
know, that's
it's
so
weird.
right. It's fine, Tony, to be honest. And we're going to enjoy some more music as well to your
Good.
concerts directly. So
Thank you.
it's going to be great. But just to, listen to your music live in our radio station is so magical. So thank you for that. And for bringing as well your guitar. We before the show, we were like trying the guitars, and you like this one.
Well, this is the guitar you keep here at the radio station, and as you told me, no one plays it. It's
exactly,
because it's a nice guitar.
It's a nice guitar, especially for the radio station.
Absolutely.
So we have some proud on the control room, some proud people smiling at your comments about our guitar. But anyway, let's go back to Awake, because so it's something, what I really like it is that it's something is live. So you are deciding maybe to updating with new songs as well throughout the year. When are you going to close this project, or is it going to be like every time live?
No, so the project is finished.
Okay, cool.
Musically, and but I won't release it until next year,
right,
when a larger amount of people know about it.
Cool.
Because I don't want it to be wasted. At the moment, it's completely under the radar, and I don't have a major record label behind it at the moment. So my plan is to build the live shows to the point where there's, a few thousand people or more who know the show very well and who are ready for the music. So that when I release it, there's already people waiting for it. But the live show is the really important thing. But the music's finished. Outside of that, of course, I'm still writing songs all the time and releasing music every couple of months and new songs. The last 2 weeks I wrote, I think, 7 new songs.
Wow.
Been very inspired recently.
Can you please tell us how does it work, the process of writing new songs for you?
Well, there's a number of different ways it can work.
Yeah.
One is I might just have an idea that I want to write about something. So it might be that I think ahead of time, I hear a phrase, like we're on the radio, so that you might have a phrase just in time, for example.
Yes.
You need to go on air and you drop something on the floor and you get up and you're in front of the mic just in time, right? And that phrase might spark an idea. So I might just then, if I've got a guitar, start going, just in time, we are here, Rosita, just in time. It is clear, Phil and London One Radio.
Of course.
Just in time, we're the best. We are better than the rest. Just in time.
And a song is done. It's produced.
There you go.
I mean, a song of London One Radio by Tony Moore right now live on London One Radio. It's quite. I'm quite impressed. And so this is one of the ways.
Yeah, and to be honest, what I would do then, I just record it on my phone and I listen to it and go, that lyric didn't work. I'll come back and try it with a different lyric. But if I've got the little germ of the idea of the melody and the little hook, then I come back and I polish it and I mold it and move it around a bit. Or the other way is just normally I play a chord and sing the first thing that comes into my head if I'm just feeling creative. And it's like stream of consciousness. I'm not really thinking, just anything might come out.
So basically you are living the real, I think you artists in general, you have this kind of power to, in order to produce songs, to produce new albums, you need to be very careful of what you're living in the real moment. And this is something like we are not able to do it because we are always in this kind of daily routine and we missed everything which is surrounding us.
Yeah, I mean, often we are living in autopilot.
Yeah. And
not really, stopping to smell the coffee, as it were. And Italians make great coffee.
Thank you.
But the process with Awake was slightly different. I started just inspirationally. I just had I can't bend the notes on this as good, but there was this riff. Anyway, that was the little guitar riff that began it all, and then I just built it up. However, when I knew it was going to be an album, I knew that the album, if you were going to listen from beginning to end, it should have a journey. It should have an arc. You should be up and down. And
like life.
Yeah, and it can't just be all the same thing. So as I was writing each song, I knew what I wanted to say. I just allowed the moods to arrive. And I go, what kind of mood do I feel like this has brought me to? So that whether it's a rocking song or whether it's a very dark piano ballad or, and then I allowed, creativity to just flow. But it happened very quickly. I was very inspired.
Something that I want to bring some attention on, even by talking to our listeners right now, is this quote by Tony Moore. Awake, it's a journey to discover truth, meaning and love in a world that's gone crazy.
Absolutely. Well, you've done your research, Rosita, haven't you?
I did.
I'm very impressed. You're a proper professional. You've done a great job today. Listen, that quote is because I can't think of a better way to describe an experience of music and performance like Awake, right? So it is a journey. At the end of the night, every night, people feel that, we all feel, me included, that our lives have been enriched by the experience that we have all shared together. And it's to try and find truth and meaning and love, because the world has always been a bit crazy.
Did you find it?
Yes, right?
How?
I did. Well, by opening myself and being vulnerable. So like you were saying a little earlier, I'm being very honest. I'm not hiding behind anything. The more vulnerable you are, the more you are open to be hurt, obviously. But the more you are open to be receptive to love wherever it is. And of course, love is for me, love is the universal force, right? You might call it gravity. Love pulls us together. Or universal magnetism. Sometimes
Weren't you like
pushes
scared?
apart. Of course. You have to be, if you're not a little bit scared, or at least out of your comfort zone. I went and saw, just change the subject, Moon Age Daydream, the Bowie documentary, which was amazing. I saw Ziggy Stardust when I was a kid in 73.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And watching this documentary was just quite touching. And by the end, I was a little teary, right? It's beautifully made. And Bowie says at the end, when you think you're comfortable, you have to go a little bit further till you're in the deep end, till your feet cannot touch the bottom of the water or the bottom of the pool, right? Then you start to produce your greatest work. And that's saying it in a different way. It's about being vulnerable, about being able to fail and being able to be hurt in order to really experience everything at the maximum.
And probably understand also life.
I don't think any of us will understand life until it's gone. And then it'll be the final thing that we learn, right? So it's a journey to discover the true meaning, right? Along the way, we have to just make this journey the best we can, right?
And how music during this journey helped you to not understand life, as you said, but at least to open your heart?
For me, music is my life, and it always has been. And I am blessed to do the thing that I love, to be surrounded by the people and the energy that inspire and drive me forward, and to be able to just every day wake up and do the things that I most enjoy doing. So I write and play every single day.
You have a purpose,
I have a purpose. That really is the meaning of life in the journey that we're on now. Because without purpose, life is a bit meaningless.
Exactly.
If you have no purpose, why get out of bed?
That's why we have people today with depression, because they don't know what to do in their lives, and they feel lost because probably they lost their purpose maybe. So that's why I want to invite all our listening to maybe listen again this interview that we are I don't want to call it interview. It's not an interview. It's like a conversation with Tony Moore. Because I believe that everyone should have a purpose. You can call it music, you can call it radio station, you can call it whatever, a book, but you need to find it. And when you find that music was your purpose?
Oh, when I was a kid, when I was 12 or 13.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my dad was a pianist and a singer. My mum was a ballet dancer, and I was
always your mum was a ballet dancer?
Yes.
Wow.
So I was always surrounded by music and art and dancing. And so I did the thing that they encouraged me to do, right? My mum was so such a foundation that I believed that there was nothing I couldn't do. And that's an unbelievable gift to give somebody.
Exactly.
To give them the support and the confidence that they can do anything. And it doesn't matter if you don't achieve what you set out to do. I also don't believe in the word failure. I think failure is just another way of saying a different set of results from the ones you expected, right? So many people have set out to do something, not achieved it, and discovered something different instead that was greater. You know, there was a guy in a restaurant in France in the 1800s who noticed that when wine got spilt on tablecloths, they had to take them away and wash them. It was a lot of fun. So he thought, how could he infuse this new concept of plastics into the tablecloth to make it so that it would repel the liquid? And he spent ages trying to invent it, and he couldn't do it, but he invented cellophane by mistake, right? Now, you might say that that was a failure because he didn't create what he set out to do, but instead he discovered something completely new. So in my life, nothing I do is a failure if it doesn't work. It's just a different set of results from the ones that I expected. Now I'm going to look at those and see what I learn from that, right? Sometimes I learn what not to do. Sometimes I discover something I never knew I could do. But this journey of purpose is really important. One of my favorite films is called Wall-E.
Okay.
Which is a Disney Pixar film, WAL.E. It's about a little droid robot that's left on the planet to clean it up whilst everyone's gone. And they send another droid back, and he falls in love, and he has a purpose. And suddenly he comes to life because he has a purpose. It's such a beautiful movie, that movie. And purpose, as you said, can be anything. It can be just to bake the best bread in the world, right?
That's true.
What is the thing that you would do unpaid, that you would stay up all night to do, that you would say no to friends because you had to do it because you love doing it so much? That's your purpose. And if you haven't found it yet, that's fine. There's no law that says you have to know what your purpose is, because sometimes it arrives at a different point in your life. Sometimes it's very young, but you see young ice skaters from the age of 5 or 6 who get up at 5 a.m. before their friends go to school to do their triple saltos and their
but you're going to discover it. You need just open your mind, and that's how we can close the circle.
Exactly.
Because you were at the beginning, you were talking about opening your heart, and this leads you also to understand what is your purpose. Because if you're always like angry with yourself, with the world who surrounds you, with people, you're never like trying to understand what's your meaning, why you are here, and you understood it through music. And then we had this kind of escalation because we saw you as the original member of the Iron Maiden. How was that experience?
Well, that was a very long time ago. And I left before the band became famous.
Right.
But
anyway,
I always stayed in touch.
Oh, really?
The Iron Maiden story is brilliant because there have been a lot of people who have been in the band over the years, but Steve, and the central core concept of Iron Maiden was always just to be the best of the new British rock bands coming out in the 70s, to have a massive stage show and entertain everybody, and to take a journey to the world, right? And that's what they've done and continue to do. They're on probably their biggest tour at the moment, all across America.
Yeah, they're going to be in the UK probably.
Next year.
Next year.
July the 7th, they're at the O2 next year.
The O2?
Yes, in London.
Yes, of course. I've been there at the O2. I think it's a great venue, and it's a great, also venue to host so many people and listening to music in terms of also the acoustic and the music.
No, it's a fantastic venue, and I've seen them there before, and I try and see them at least once every tour that they do, at least at one show. But if you've never seen an Iron Maiden show, you have to go and see it. They just put on the best show ever.
But we want to see also your shows.
Awake,
so
yes.
Awake. And the incredible thing about Tony Moore as well is that basically he surprised me just a few days ago, because he was calling me like Rosita with this kind of Italian accent, because you are attached a little bit to Italy. So what's going on?
Well, I love Italy, okay? So I've been there many times over the years. And in fact, in 1994, my ex-girlfriend, Marie-Claire Dubaldo, had a big hit there. And we were there a lot with The Rhythm is Magic.
Of course.
da, da.
Someone else.
Na, 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 na. Anyway, the rhythm is magic, feel it in your soul. Rhythm is the power of creation. I can hear voices. Anyway,
It's quite famous.
Yes.
We still like sing it,
I know.
this song.
If you look, there's some videos of Festival Bar.
Festival Bar,
You'll see me there with a bandana and long.
What?
It was in the movie.
You can listen. You can talk to on the radio, Phil.
And this is a soundtrack on the movie Il Ciclone.
Yes,
Il Ciclone.
very famous.
Very
movie.
famous.
So I spent a lot of time there in '94 with Marie Claire and playing guitar with her, and you'll kind of see me with a bandana and dark glasses and long hair. But in 2019, it's a long story, but I went to a winery in Otropopavese, near Pavia, and met a family called the Torti family who make this wonderful wines. And I ended up doing a little impromptu concert on the winery.
No way. What's a beautiful like a gift that you made for them. I mean,
they gave me incredible wines, and we had a wonderful day. So we did a little concert, and at the end of it, we became really good friends. And then whenever Patrizia or the family were in London, they would come to the Bedford and see a show or come and see me. And then at the autumn of 2019, they approached me and said, we're going to launch a new label, and we'd love to do a collaboration with you.
wow.
So the label is called Route 66
Route 66.
by Tony Moore. So we know Route 66 is a famous road.
Yes.
It's a famous rock and roll song. And now it's going to be a very famous wine. So in my collection, there are 3 wines. There's a Pinot Nero, a Barbera, and a Pinot Noir, a Barbera, and a Pinot Nero vinified in Bianco, which is,
Yes,
red grape
it's
making
quite
white
famous.
wine.
Yeah.
And the labels are my rock and roll clothes, my leather jackets and stuff with Route 66 on them. And you can get them at the Bedford is the first major venue to take them in London. We have distribution here, and if anyone's interested in the wine, you can contact me through the radio, and I'm sure they'll put you in touch. But
cool.
I love more places to take the wine. And the nice thing is that if people are working with me with the wine, I can also come and do some impromptu concerts. If it's a bar and restaurant and they're stocking the wine, I can come and do a little night and talk about the wine and play some songs. And I like to add a little extra value to it. But these are great wines, and I'm very proud of them. So you can
and behind there's a story as well.
Yes, and the family are fabulous. They're such beautiful souls. So they're probably listening now. So hello to the Torti family if you're listening now.
Hello, Torti family. Wow.
No Torti, no party.
No torti, no party. That's perfect. That's a
Yes.
perfect line to say. And also, yeah, of course. I mean, so you're going to be back in Italy quite often.
Yeah, I hope so. Now things are settling down a little bit. When Mum was still with us, I was with her every night looking after her. So next year I will be able to travel a little bit more because I don't have that responsibility. So I like to think that her last gift to me was the gift of freedom. We loved each other very much, but her life was deteriorating to the point that it wasn't a good quality of life.
Of course. I mean, it's not easy. It's not easy. I know what because personally I had grandfather who had the same problem.
Right.
And fortunately, there was like my grandmother who's taking care of him, but it was like crazy.
Yes. So
literally. So I understand.
So,
Totally.
I take her with me. She's in the show. There's video of her and photos and her talking in the show. And the show is a celebration of life. It's a journey to discover truth, meaning, and love in a world gone crazy. But really, underneath all of that is a celebration of life. And it's a universal story. Even though it's my story, as we've discussed today, we can share this, yes.
Of course. Tony Moore on London One Radio, it was incredible. Having you today, it was like something quite meaningful for everybody because you shared something quite important that sometimes we need to reflect on, and please find also your purpose. It's quite important.
And I would also add, forgive yourself.
Forgive yourself.
Right. Forgive yourself. Everything is okay. We're human. It's our purpose in life, I guess, as humans, is to live. Right. We have no other choice. We're here, so we have to live. So forgive yourself. Things are going to go wrong. You're going to mess things up. Things won't go the way you want them to. But if you harbor negative energy and anger and frustration, inside, this eats away at your soul.
Of course.
So just let go, forgive, and you're doing it. To me, forgiveness is the most selfish thing you can do, right? Because if someone annoys you and really drives you mad, if you forgive them, you let go of that energy. And they don't know, but it doesn't matter because you feel better, right? If you don't forgive them, they still don't know, but you now have all this negative energy to have to deal with, right? Well, a horrible thing to have to keep in your life all the time. So forgive doesn't mean forget necessarily, and forgive doesn't mean repeat, but forgive means let go and just allow yourself to be in the moment.
Even because life is short, you never know what's going to happen.
Yes.
So why destroy your life for other people?
Yeah,
and just create like positive vibes.
And that manifests, there's that whole thing about the book The Secret that girl, the Australian girl wrote. And well, all of these things are true. They may be a bit cliched, but they are very true. I watch my world and I can't see why other people have such a hard time sometimes, except that I see some people are just very negative about everything and lots of negative things seem to happen. And I'm just sat here being positive and enjoying life and nice things seem to happen. Doesn't mean difficult things don't happen, but they come in a different way.
Different way. Yeah, you experience it. You can face challenges in a different way, with a new spirit. Thank you very much, Tony Moore. We're gonna see you next time in London, the Camden Club on 4th of November.
Absolutely. If people want to know more about me, you can go to TonyMooreMusic.com.
Perfect. And in the meantime, we're going to listen again Tony Moore's song. Please, Phil, let's play it. Tony Moore's song, I Cry For You. Thank you so much.
Grazie mille.
Perfect.